Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Shirani. Today I have a very special recipe for you. I'm sharing my mom's coconut cinnamon rolls with you. For this recipe, you're going to need 4 cups of white all-purpose flour. As always, I'm going to have the exact measurements in the description box below for you. To the flour, you're going to add half cup of white sugar, 2 packets of rapid rise instant yeast. Make sure you get every bit of yeast out of the packet. Look how much is in there. So just use your finger and get it out. For reference, if you're using yeast from the jar, each packet has 2 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. Mix that together. Every time I use this kneading bowl, I always get asked where I get it from, and I brought this back from Belize many years ago, so that's where I got it from, and I don't know if they still make them. Okay, to the flour mixture, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of shortening, 2 beaten eggs, I'm going to mix that together and then I'm going to add some milk to it. For the milk, you're going to need 1 cup of warm milk, and you don't want your milk to be hot because if it's hot it could kill your yeast, so just warm to the touch. You're going to slowly pour your milk in while you mix the flour together, and you're going to do this a little at a time. Now you're not going to use the whole cup of milk, you're going to be left over with about a tablespoon of milk, so you're just going to do this slowly and mix it together. If you put all the milk, your dough is going to be sticky and then you'll need extra flour. And when I make any kind of dough or anything like that, I don't like to add extra flour to it. I like it to be exact. So I rather have a little bit of milk left over than to add a lot more flour to the sticky dough, if that makes sense. And when you do this, you'll want to clean off your hands. Just clean it off right in the bowl. No need to go wash your hands. And then you also want to clean up the bowl with your dough because you want to get every bit of the flour. So just keep kneading it. And right here it looks a little bit soft, like it's going to be sticky, but when you clean up the bowl and get all that flour, it's not going to be sticky. You're going to knead your dough for about 5 minutes or so until it's nice and smooth and elastic. As you can see, the bowl is nice and clean. I didn't have to add any extra flour. And you want your dough to be nice and soft like this, where you can just stretch it out. You want it to be soft to the touch. It's not sticky, it's not dry, it's just nice and soft. You're going to shape it into a ball and then rub some oil on it, and the oil just keeps it from drying out. I was so happy when I found this recipe in my cookbook because I completely forgot about it. And I've shared my cookbook with you over the years, the one that my mom made me when I was in my teens. She made a cookbook for me and one for my sister, and that's just very special. Oh my gosh, I cherish this book, but it's falling apart, so I need to do something with it. And I keep saying I'm going to do something and I never do, but I really have to. Cover it and let it rise for 2 hours or until it's double in size. I wanted to show you how much milk I had left over, so I had a tablespoon of milk and a little bit more. Okay, it's been 2 hours, so I'm going to get my pan ready. And I'm using a 13 by 9-inch pan, and I'm just greasing it with some shortening. Okay, let's make the filling. So to a bowl, you're going to add 1 cup of packed brown sugar and 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. Mix that together. If you like a lot of cinnamon in yours, you can add up to 2 tablespoons, but nothing more than that, otherwise it's too overpowering. And here I'm taking out the hard pieces of brown sugar. To that, you're going to add 6 tablespoons of softened margarine. I have to say mine could have been a little bit softer, but it was okay, it's still mixed together. If you don't want to use margarine, you can use butter, but I use that because that's what my mom always used. Okay, now it's time to roll out the dough, and instead of flouring the counter, I'm going to use oil, and you're going to rub the oil on the part of the counter that you're going to roll out the dough. And this is going to be a big dough, so make sure you oil it. And I learned this trick from my cousin Esther, so thanks gal. And she taught me to put oil. She said it just rolls out better, and I think so too. I love doing it with the oil than with flour. Plus, I don't like all that extra flour on the dough. You're going to roll this into a rectangle and just try to make it even, you know. And then I use my pan as a guide. I just make it a little bit bigger than the pan. All you have to do now is take that sugar mixture and spread it evenly over the dough. Let me know, have you had cinnamon rolls with coconut before? Have you tried them? Do you like them? Let me know in the comments below. Now I'm going to sprinkle 2 cups of shredded coconut on top, and I'm using the sweetened shredded coconut. And after you spread it evenly over the dough, you're going to press it down. You want to make sure it stays in the dough. The way we made this growing up was with fresh coconut. Oh my gosh, that was my job for grated coconut, and I never liked grated coconut, you know. But I like it, the cinnamon roll. Now you're going to carefully roll this up. You're going to roll it into a log, and when you roll it, you kind of stretch out the dough a little bit while you roll it. When you reach the end, you kind of want to just stretch it over and just make sure to seal it really well. Now I'm just going to use my thread to mark where I'm going to cut it because I want to have equal pieces, and I'm also using this thread to cut the dough. That's how my mom always did hers, so that's what I'm using. I know some people use a knife, but the thread just makes it so much easier. And that's hard for me to say thread because I'm used to saying thread. That's just the Belizean way, thread. Would you just look at them, look how full they are. Oh my gosh, they're going to be so good. My mom was just the best, and she was just the sweetest. I miss her so much. It's been over 10 years since she's been gone, but I still miss her every day. And oh my gosh, I don't want to cry. Every time I do this, I always cry, but it's, oh my gosh. Sorry about that. I had to gather myself. I don't want this to be another crying video. But every time I make a recipe from my mom, you know, something that we used to make when I was growing up, it always just do something to me. After I cut them, I like to just go in there and move them around a little bit. You know, some of them are bigger than some, so I like to make space for all the big ones, so I move some small one around and big ones, so just do what you need to do. You're going to cover that and let it rise for an hour and a half or until it's almost double in size. When it bakes, it's going to rise some more. You're going to put them in a preheated 350 degrees Fahrenheit oven and bake them for 20 minutes. While that's baking, I like to put some butter in a glass dish and just set it on the stove so the heat from the oven could melt my butter. Take your melted butter and generously brush the top of your cinnamon rolls. Now this is the way we serve our cinnamon rolls. We don't put any frosting on the top. We just serve it just like this. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could taste this. They are so, so, so good. Oh, all the memories. I remember when my sister used to make them. Oh my gosh, this was her thing. She perfected her cinnamon rolls and she used to even make them to sell. People would go crazy for her cinnamon rolls. If you've never had cinnamon rolls with coconut, you have to try it. This is the only way I know them. This is the only way my mom ever made them. I don't think she ever made them without coconut. I don't remember it. I just always remember coconut in her cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls and powder bun, we always put coconut. These just melt in your mouth. Oh my gosh, they just melt in your mouth. So buttery, so soft, so coconutty, so cinnamony. Everything. I hope you give this recipe a try.